Hi, this is a review of the order trading system activity for July the 29th, 2021. We had three trades on that day. All three trades were buys. First trade was CAKE. That's the Cheesecake Factory Incorporated. Tripped at 11:57:28 a.m. at a price of 48.64. It was a buy. Closed the day at 47.74, actually down 0.02%, so moving a little negative, or closing a little negative on that day. But let's see. Actually looks good. Yeah, right around here. And then it came out 46.82, 72, 60, 83, 81. Okay, yeah, there's almost an hour here where it was above its tripping price. Not by a lot, but still, it's above its tripping price. And consider that a positive because it was. And OBV pretty much showing what the price is showing. It came up, stabilized for the most part. And then at the end of the day, you can see that's when it started coming down. MACD, you can see it came up and slowly moved down a bit, stabilized a bit again. Again, somewhat following the price activity. DI up in the afternoon, down actually quite heavily in the afternoon. So you can see it actually dropped heavily directional wise. In Bollinger Band, same thing. So everything basically showing the same kind of movement or activity. The stock was positive basically in the morning, early afternoon, and the afternoon, late afternoon period is where it reversed and started going negative again. Next trade is DISCA. That's Discovery Incorporated. Tripped at 1:35:13 p.m. at a price of 30.65. Closed the day at 30.18, up 2.69%. And early morning here, it's down 1.29%. So it looks like it's losing its gain from yesterday, at least early morning wise. And 135. So roughly around this period, it came up, tripped, and then went down. 30.27, 30.66. Yeah, it jumped up, but let's see. I will give it at least. I'd like to have at least 10-15 minutes of positive activity before I consider it a good point to indicate a positive activity or positive opportunity. So it's saying around 244. Yeah, 244 to 254 it was above its tripping price. It's within the time frame that I give it. 10 minutes is a little bit tight, but I'm going to accept 10 minutes as a opportunity here where it was up above its tripping price. It's just obviously not there for very long, which is too bad. And you can see it jumped up again and then just started reversing. Good thing is it jumped up a good amount above its tripping price. So we're going to consider that a positive, but it's a very light positive. That'd be a very 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 tricky trade or a tricky stock to play with because of the amount of positive activity that occurred. Excuse me. Interestingly, look, this 244. Yeah. You could see OBV came down here. It came up a little bit, which is where that jump occurred, but volume-wise, not extensively, and it was still down from its morning activity. OBV is not too bad. OBV is showing multiple points where it's jumping up and down, so OBV is actually not too bad. DI showing the same kind of activity. And again, here, this is a point here where it jumped up again and moving sideways at the end of the day, so it's not too bad. And Bollinger Band showing that it came up, basically stabilized, and somewhat moved sideways. So surprisingly, I was thinking that this stock was moving negative, but actually is moving actually somewhat positive, not extensively, but a little bit positive. So the actual stock is not doing too bad movement wise. Next trade is MRNA. That's Moderna Incorporated. Tripped at 2:55:05 p.m. at a price of 346.89. Again, it was a buy. Closed the day at 345.64, down 1.05%, and it's down 0.33% early morning here. Here, this is the market indicators. And as you can see, the market indicators are showing very down activity. So this is not surprising to see down activity early morning on a stock because the markets are showing to be moving negative. So it's just the way things go. And we'll see if there's an opportunity here. 255. Yeah, it doesn't. Not really sure. 246.43. 347.14. 345. I'd say roughly around this period, around 3 o'clock, it was above its tripping price. It was 3 o'clock. 346. 3 o'clock. Three o'clock to 3:12. This is another tight trade here. We got around 12 to 15 minutes of it being positive. So I'm gonna consider it positive, but it's another tight one. This would be a very tricky stock. Again, these are the type of stocks where if you're monitoring, you'd have to make a determination to get out. This one here probably would not be too difficult. Well, actually, no. Here it tripped to 255. Yeah, this one may be a bit. I can see how this one could be difficult because you're getting here and you're tripping, and right after it tripped is where it went above its tripping price for a bit itself, and really didn't, you'd have to make a determination. It could be maybe a strategy follow that maybe near the end of the day or in late afternoon you may sit there and say, hey, look, if I don't see a continual movement upwards, I'm going to have to get out. But again, those are very, very tricky kinds of things to do because you're really not sure exactly how the stock is behaving. But again, it was above its tripping price for almost 15 minutes, which to me is enough time to get out. And we'll have a look at the indicators. OBV, not terrible. It's showing up. But you can see here late afternoon it was coming up. MACD came up around that time too, dropped a little bit, but again, that's normal for MACD to work that way. DI again came up and moved sideways a bit. Interestingly, because movement-wise, it looks like it's moving a little bit more negative than positive in general. So that's interesting itself. Bollinger Band, you can see it opened, or at least it started recording here, or at least the values we have. Somewhat moving downwards a little bit, then came up and then moved sideways. So at the end of the day, the stock technically was moving positive, even though it obviously closed the day down below its previous close. But the stock itself was moving positive. So again, another stock there where the possibility was a little bit tight, but the stock itself wasn't looking too bad for the direction that it tripped on. So not great, but not terrible. Anyways, that's 100% possibility, even though a couple of them were very tight. So it's a question mark how positive they are, but they are still positive. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.